This will defend.
Fly Army.
Above the best.
Good morning, graduates, family members, and guests. On behalf of Major General Claire Gill, Commanding General, United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence and Fort Novosel, welcome to the graduation ceremony for flight school. Would everyone please stand for the invocation and playing of the national anthem? Chaplain John Fletcher will give our invocation.
As we gather here this morning to celebrate the remarkable achievements of these outstanding individuals, let us take a moment to reflect and pray. We stand on the precipice of a new chapter where dedication, perseverance, and courage
have brought us together. We invoke a spirit of gratitude for the mentors who have guided these aviators, for the families who have supported them, and for the bonds forged in the skies. May we honor the sacrifices made by those who serve, and may the lessons learned here propel our graduates into their future endeavors. May the winds of fortune be ever at their backs, the skies be clear, and their flights be safe. And may the blessing of Almighty God be with each and every one of you, now and forever. Amen.
Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. Gentlemen, please remove your headdress. Thank you. You may be seated. Please welcome Lieutenant Colonel Sean Smith, Commander of 1st Battalion, 11th Aviation Regiment.
Good morning. What an exciting day for Army Aviation. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to today's graduation ceremony. Family members, friends, and instructors, thank you for your support in commemorating this tremendous occasion. We're delighted you can celebrate with us this morning. Attending this ceremony representing the United States Army Aviation Center of Excellence are Brigadier General William Temple, Deputy Commanding General for the Army National Guard, Chief Warrant Officer 5 Michael Corsaro, Chief Warrant Officer for the Aviation Branch, Colonel Christopher Langdon Logsdon, Deputy Commandant for the Army National Guard and Senior Guard Advisor, Colonel Mary Elizabeth Scott, Deputy Assistant Commandant for the United States Army Reserve, Lieutenant Colonel Mark Axtell, Commander 1st of the 145th Aviation Regiment, Chief Warrant Officer 5 Nigel Hebsher, Command Chief Warrant Officer 1st Aviation Brigade, Chief Warrant Officer 5 Ed Carmen, Senior Warrant Officer Advisor to the Deputy Commanding General with the Army National Guard, Command Sergeant Major Tahir Hassan, 1st Aviation Brigade, Command Sergeant Major Julian Adams, 1st of the 145th Aviation Regiment. We would also like to welcome Mr. Gregory Imhoff, Executive Director for Test Technologies, Senior Scientific Technical Manager for Naval Test Wing Atlantic, Naval Air Station Pax River. Colonel Derek Wesson, Deputy Chief of Staff, United States Army Reserve Command, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Colonel Brian James, United States Army retired. Colonel Tracy Rue, United States Army retired. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Jeffrey Stobbs, United States Army retired. Thank you for joining us today. For our newest Army aviators, congratulations on achieving a significant milestone. In just a few minutes, your flight school journey will come to an end as your friends and family pin the wings you've worked so hard to achieve on your chest. I hope they will always remind you of three things: the professional aviators who trained you, the special community you now belong to, and the sacred duty we have to support the ground force. The ground force is depending on you to get them where they need to be, when they need to be there, or to protect them from the enemy. And when you find yourself on the receiving end of a frantic radio call for help, I know you'll respond, moving heaven and earth to help the men and women on the ground, because that's what Army Aviation is all about. We exist to support the ground force. I'm proud of you and eager to see each of you realize your full potential as Army aviators. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I would like to quickly reiterate the process for pinning our aviators. Your aviator will be called forward, cross the stage, then stand before the stage to await their family or friends to come up and pin on their wings. The Master of Ceremony will cue you by saying, "Please come forward to pin your aviator." At that time, please come forward and pin the wings on your aviator. Take a brief moment to celebrate this momentous occasion before returning to your seats. The stage will be available after graduation for you to take as many additional photographs as you would like. Graduates, this is a defining moment for you and your family, one you'll likely never forget. Congratulations to all of you. Now it is my great pleasure to introduce the guest speaker for today's graduation ceremony. Colonel Jason Woodward is a master aviator with more than 28 years of military service. He originally enlisted into the Army as an infantryman in 1994. 9 years later, he was commissioned as an aviation second lieutenant upon graduation from the United States Military Academy. He then attended the Basic Aviation Qualification Course and the AH-64 Delta Advanced Qualifications Course. He was rated in the AH-64 Delta and Echo Apache, the OH-58 Alpha and Charlie Kiowa, the TH-67 Creek, and the UH-72 Lakota helicopters. During his time in the Army, he received numerous awards and decorations for his service and served in a number of operational and key positions from scout and platoon leader to brigade commander in conventional and special operations units. He has also completed an interagency fellowship in the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Coordination and wrote special doctrine in the Combined Arms Doctrine Directorate before serving as the senior aviation trainer at the National Training Center. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Colonel Jason Woodward.
I don't know if I can live up to that introduction, but distinguished guests, fellow aviators, friends of Fort Novosel, and most importantly, the friends and families joining us in person today or through the magic of the internet, thank you for being part of today's special occasion. It is an honor to be here today amongst the 41 newest Army aviators of Flight School Class 25009 and their friends and family. You have successfully completed the program of instruction designed to prepare you for a lifetime of service as Army aviators and officers in the Army. You have met the exacting standards required to earn the silver wings that you will now wear for the first time in a few short minutes. Through it all, you have matured and grown in ways that are hard to understand and quantify, but you depart here different than you arrived. For some of you, this is the first time you have sat in these seats, surrounded by the artifacts and lineage that illustrate our lineage and heritage. Today is your first step towards your contributions to the legacy of Aviation Branch. The legacy of my generation, the generation that upheld the sacred trust through the global war on terrorism, is sprinkled in the corners here of the first floor and in display cases upstairs on the second. Where will the artifacts that speak to the legacy, the continuation of the sacred trust, and the traditions you write be displayed? You will sit in these seats again in future years. I know that I am about the only thing between you and Fort Novosel in the rearview mirror as you embark on some truly incredible Army adventures. I also know that none of you will remember who was your guest speaker at flight school graduation. I know I don't remember mine, but I would be remiss to not take this opportunity to try to sprinkle some nuggets about leadership and aviation. And maybe the nugget that sticks will impact where the artifacts of your generation's legacy are displayed here in this museum in 15 or 20 years. First, family. All of you have someone that cares about you. Make time for them. You never know when you won't have that opportunity again. And I truly believe that the number one reason soldiers leave the service is because their families are no longer willing to make the sacrifices associated with service. I don't believe you will ever achieve balance between your personal and professional lives, as balance implies a 50-50 split. But I do believe you have to make investments in those that you care about and those that care about you. Have a plan and make those investments count. Second, every place has something to offer if you're willing to try it. Some of you are headed to places that sound amazing, like Hawaii and Germany. And some of you are headed to places that probably don't sound amazing, like Fort Irwin and Fort Johnson. And believe it or not, I know just as many people who have hated Hawaii as have loved it. And I also know, having been stationed at both Fort Irwin and Fort Johnson, that there's some great stuff there too. And yes, my family loved it while we were stationed out in the Mojave Desert or in the swamps of Louisiana. And we loved it because of the community we found when we got there. You'll never know what opportunities are presented by the Army unless you are willing to try them. And third, you'll never be as cool as you are right now. The next couple of years will be filled with some incredible challenges and opportunities. Challenges and opportunities that you will talk about for the rest of your life. Whether you stay in the Army for 10 years or 30, you will routinely talk about the adventures that await you as you depart Fort Novosel. Enjoy the ups and downs for the next few years. And trust me, as the old guy standing up here, you'll never be cooler than you are right now. You are leaders in Army Aviation. You will depart from here and serve in units that will continue to uphold the sacred trust of Army Aviation with the soldier on the ground. Your units will answer the radio call from a scared soldier on the ground who needs help. You will find out what is over the hill for the soldier and the prone fighting for their life. You will lead flights of aircraft that place soldiers in positions of better advantage. You will put them on the X. You will pilot the aircraft that brings in ammunition and supplies when and where they are needed most. You will deliver firepower at danger close to turn the tide of a battle. And you will launch in 0-0 weather into an LZ that is too small to evacuate a wounded soldier from the field of battle. You are the aviation warfighters that will carry on our proud traditions and the sacred trust between Army Aviation and the soldier on the ground. You will be part of the units that are a soldier's greatest hope on their worst day. You are now aviation warfighters, and now and will always be above the best. God bless and congratulations. This will defend above the best and fly Army.
Thank you, Colonel Woodward, for your inspiring remarks. At this point in the ceremony, we honor those graduates who have excelled in the course. Graduates who are within the top 20% of their class receive special recognition as Commandant's List graduates, honor graduates, or distinguished graduates. The distinguished graduate is a title bestowed upon those officers who attain the highest overall scholastic average throughout the entire course of instruction. As the title implies, it is a mark of excellence, representing outstanding achievement in academic and flight endeavor. The distinguished graduate receives engraved sterling silver wings provided by the Army Aviation Association of America, plus an additional gift from the Military Officers Association of America. At this time, I take pleasure in announcing the distinguished graduate from class 25009. Lieutenant Cole Dack, distinguished graduate. First Lieutenant Dack is an active duty CH-47 Fox pilot. Warrant Officer Martin Stern, Jr., distinguished graduate. Warrant Officer 1 Stern is a U-860 Mike pilot with the Tennessee National Guard. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Now we will recognize the remaining top 20% and then the remainder of the class in alphabetical order by rank. Lieutenant Joseph Kellogg, honor graduate. First Lieutenant Kellogg is an active duty UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Tyler Pritchard, honor graduate. First Lieutenant Pritchard is an active duty CH-47 Fox pilot. Lieutenant Ryan Werner, honor graduate. Second Lieutenant Werner is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the North Carolina National Guard. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Bryce Garrett, honor graduate. Warrant Officer Garrett is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Georgia National Guard. Warrant Officer Derek Hallman, honor graduate. Warrant Officer Hallman is an active duty CH-47 Fox pilot. Warrant Officer Wesley Mayer, honor graduate. Warrant Officer Mayer is a UH-60 Mike pilot with Wisconsin National Guard. Warrant Officer Samuel Wonder, honor graduate. Warrant Officer 1 Wonder is a UH-60 Lima pilot with the Massachusetts National Guard. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Floyd Buchanan. Second Lieutenant Buchanan is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Alabama National Guard. Lieutenant Hunter Cashmere. Second Lieutenant Cashmere is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Pennsylvania National Guard. Lieutenant Emily Dack. First Lieutenant Dack is an active duty UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Kevin Gutierrez. Second Lieutenant Gutierrez is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Army Reserve based out of Florida. Lieutenant Griffin Harrington. Second Lieutenant Harrington is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Massachusetts National Guard. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Vincent Hernandez. Second Lieutenant Hernandez is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the New Jersey National Guard. Lieutenant Raymond Hidalgo. First Lieutenant Hidalgo is an active duty UH-60 Mike pilot. Lieutenant Ryan James. Second Lieutenant James is a CH-47 Fox pilot with the Oregon National Guard. Lieutenant Christopher Karmazine. Second Lieutenant Karmazine is a CH-47 Fox pilot with the Nebraska National Guard. Lieutenant Garrett Klinger. Second Lieutenant Klinger is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Army Reserve based out of Texas. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Lieutenant Finn Rue. Second Lieutenant Rue is a UH-72 Lakota pilot with the Colorado National Guard. Lieutenant Marcus Russell. Second Lieutenant Russell is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Washington, D.C. National Guard. Lieutenant Aaron Stevens. Second Lieutenant Stevens is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Idaho National Guard. Lieutenant Morgan Ulu. Second Lieutenant Ulu is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Oregon National Guard. Warrant Officer Sean Ballard. Warrant Officer 1 Ballard is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Army Reserve, based out of Florida. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Sante Truk. Warrant Officer Truk is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Army Reserve, based out of Florida. Warrant Officer Thomas Coffin. Warrant Officer Coffin is a C-12 pilot with the Army Reserve, based out of New Jersey. Warrant Officer Tyler Cordero. Warrant Officer 1 Cordero is an active-duty CH-47 Fox pilot. Warrant Officer Amy Creamer. Warrant Officer 1 Creamer is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Alaska National Guard. Warrant Officer Christy Day. Warrant Officer 1 Day is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Army Reserve, based out of Colorado. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer John Easter. Warrant Officer 1 Easter is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Pennsylvania National Guard. Warrant Officer Samantha Henry. Warrant Officer 1 Henry is a CH-47 Fox pilot with the Army Reserve based out of Virginia. Warrant Officer Andrew Holmes. Warrant Officer 1 Holmes is a CH-47 Fox pilot with the Army Reserve based out of Virginia. Warrant Officer James Lapine. Warrant Officer 1 Lapine is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Minnesota National Guard. Warrant Officer Eli Marshbank. Warrant Officer 1 Marshbank is a CH-47 Fox pilot with the Georgia National Guard. Warrant Officer Ethan Nicosia. Warrant Officer 1 Nicosia is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Louisiana National Guard. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Warrant Officer Mac Patton III. Warrant Officer 1 Patton is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the Mississippi National Guard. Warrant Officer Nathan Stevens. Warrant Officer 1 Stevens is a UH-60 Mike pilot with the South Carolina National Guard. Warrant Officer Jacob Stewart. Warrant Officer 1 Stewart is an active duty UH-60 Mike pilot. Warrant Officer Zachary Swenson. Warrant Officer 1 Swenson is an UH-60 Mike pilot with the Delaware National Guard. Warrant Officer Andrew Thomas. Warrant Officer 1 Thomas is an active duty CH-47 Fox pilot. Please come forward and pin your aviator. Graduates, please stand. Please join me in a round of applause for the Army's newest aviation warfighters. Would everyone please stand or remain standing for the playing of the Aviation song, Above the Best, and the Army song, The Army Goes Rolling Along. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the graduation ceremony. Thank you for celebrating with us. Please enjoy the rest of your day and safe travels returning home. Class leader, please dismiss the class.